3,000 signatures. That's how many people signed a petition asking Park Jae-byum to take his own life. He was 22. The charge against him, a private message written at 17 to a friend, in American slang a Korean media outlet, didn't understand and didn't try to. His contract terminated immediately, and 2,000 protested outside his agency making sure he wasn't welcome anymore. Korea wanted him gone, and he left for Seattle the very next day. You know him as Jay Park, and this is how Jay Park went from cancelled to building an empire that rewrote the rules of Korean music forever. Origin: Seattle, 2003. Park Jae-byum was born in Edmonds, Washington in 1987, the Seattle suburbs. His family wasn't wealthy. His mother watched him blow off homework to practice breakdancing and made a calculation. Her son wasn't going to stop dancing, so she might as well point the dancing somewhere useful. In 2004, she saw a local advertisement for an audition run by JYP Entertainment, one of the biggest music companies in South Korea. Jay didn't know what JYP was. He thought it was a cash prize competition. He went in, danced, and didn't think much of it. 3 months later, JYP contacted the family. They wanted to fly him to Seoul. He was 17 years old, he spoke almost no Korean. He had never lived outside Seattle. He said yes. What happened in that first year in Seoul is something Jay Park has spoken about in interviews many times since. He couldn't communicate with the other trainees. He couldn't read the menus. He couldn't understand the culture. His family was on the other side of the world. He was a 17-year-old kid, alone, homesick, grinding 12-hour training days in a system designed to iron out everything, including himself. So one night on his old MySpace account, he vented to a friend back home, the way 17-year-olds do, in slang, in the language of someone exhausted and far from home. Those messages sat there for 4 years, until someone went looking. The training system is designed to produce one thing: perfection. 12-hour days. Sing it like this, do it like this. Jay Park later described that period plainly. It helped him technically, and it killed his passion and creativity in equal measure. The system gave him the tools and took something harder in return: the rise and the fall. In 2008, Jay Park debuted as the leader of 2PM, one of JYP's most anticipated groups. The concept was raw energy, b-boy athleticism, the anti-idol idol, and at the front of it, the Korean-American kid from Seattle, who could move like nobody else on that stage. The debut single, 10 out of 10, landed immediately. Within a year, 2PM were one of the biggest groups in Korea. Jay Park was a household name. His face was on billboards. He was co-hosting television programs, filming variety shows, recording for the next album. Then September 4th, 2009, someone dug up his old MySpace account, found messages he'd written in 2005 as a teenager, complaining about the difficulty of adjusting to life as a trainee in an unfamiliar country, written in American slang to a friend, private, forgotten. A Korean media outlet got hold of it, translated it, but the translation stripped out the slang, the context, the relationship. What came out the other side read like a direct insult to Korea and Korean people. It wasn't. Jay Park himself said it over and over. Korean broadcaster MBC eventually investigated the incident and confirmed the messages had been severely mistranslated and taken out of context. But by then, it didn't matter. The protest outside JYP's building grew to 2,000 people. JYP's CEO initially stood by Jay, publicly announcing he would remain in the group. The following day, Jay Park made the decision himself. He announced his departure to protect the other members from the fallout. He flew home to Seattle. At the year-end Manette Asian Music Awards, 2PM performed their hit song on national television. One position in the dance formation was left deliberately empty. A spotlight held it. His lines were not sung by anyone else. They left the space where Jay Park should have been. The MacBook and the comeback. Back in Seattle, Jay Park had no label, no contract, no management. What he had was time, a borrowed camera, and an old bedroom. A fan sent him a MacBook. That's the detail that changes everything. He set it up, opened a webcam, and recorded a cover of B.O.B.'s Nothing on You. No studio, no production team, just him, the camera, and the song. He posted it online and it hit 3 million views in a single day. Not 3 million over a week, not 3 million over a month, one day. The music industry paid attention. An entertainment attorney named Ned Sherman later saw Jay's story, felt the injustice, and reached out to represent him. Within months, Jay had a film deal, an endorsement deal with Levi's, and a YouTube channel that Korea was watching. But here's what most people miss about the return. It wasn't about music, it wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It wasn't about reclaiming what the industry had taken from him. His family had sacrificed to send him to Seoul at 17. His mother had pointed the dancing somewhere useful when everyone else just saw a kid skipping class. He didn't go back for the career. He went back to make good on what that sacrifice was supposed to mean. To do well, to take care of the people who had believed in him before anyone else did. The viral cover had also done something the industry couldn't ignore. Korea hadn't forgotten him. The fans who once packed arenas to watch him perform had spent months watching his YouTube videos from a bedroom in Seattle, the same country that had blacklisted him from every music program and closed every industry door, had been streaming his music in the millions. He returned to South Korea on June 18, 2010, and the crowd at Incheon International Airport was the largest the airport had ever seen for an arriving celebrity. Park Jae-byum has returned, became the top headline in Korea. Jae is back trended globally on Twitter within minutes of his arrival. The same country that had called for his deportation 12 months earlier was now standing at the airport in the thousands to welcome him home, proving it. But a crowd at an airport doesn't give you a career. The Korean industry had made sure of that. Even after the welcome, Jae Park was blacklisted from music programs. He couldn't get on television. Collaborations were difficult. The gatekeepers who ran the industry's promotional machinery had not changed their minds just because fans showed up to cheer. So he did what he'd done in Seattle. He went around the system entirely. He signed with Sidus HQ Management and in July 2010 released his first solo EP, built around a Korean version of Nothin' On You, the song that had already proven Korea still knew his name. The EP went straight to #1 on the Gaon chart. In 2011, he released his first proper mini-album, Take a Deeper Look. 7 songs, almost all of them written and composed by himself. The lead single, Abandoned, made him the first artist in Korean music history to win a music show on his debut stage. He also became the only solo artist to win Record of the Year at the Golden Disc Awards that year. An industry that wouldn't put him on television was watching him win its awards. Then came New Breed in February 2012, his first full-length album. It sold over 100,000 copies in a month. It hit #1 on the Gaon chart, #4 on the Billboard World Albums chart, and took him to 5 countries across Asia on tour. The boy who had been told he wasn't welcome had just released the biggest solo hip-hop album Korea had seen in years, and he'd done it without the system's permission, without the promotional machine, without anyone opening the door for him. He'd built his own door, and then he'd walked through it. Building the empire. Jae Park didn't come back to play by the industry's rules. He'd seen what those rules looked like from the inside. 4 years of grueling training where the label owned your image, your sound, your schedule, and the language you spoke to your friends. He was done with that model. In September 2013, Jae Park founded AOMG, Above Ordinary Music Group. He started with almost nothing. The first artists he signed were a producer named Gray, a Seattle affiliate named Cha-Cha Malone, and a composer called Jungoon. No big budget, no corporate backing, no safety net. The philosophy was simple and in Korea's entertainment industry, almost unheard of. The artist comes first. Creative freedom is non-negotiable, and the artists take a larger share of the profit than anywhere else. Rapper Loco, one of AOMG's early signings, said it plainly in interviews. AOMG is different from other agencies in that it allows the artist to take more of the profit. Jae Park himself put it even more directly. He told an interviewer, "I don't need my artists to make money, because I can make money myself." Within 2 years of launching, AOMG artists were at the top of every major Korean music chart. Loco won. Gray dominated production credits. Simon Dominic, one of Korean hip-hop's most respected figures, came on as co-CEO. The label that started in a small office became the most credible hip-hop imprint in Korea. Not because it was the biggest, because it was the most trusted. In 2017, Jae Park became the first Asian American artist ever signed to Roc Nation, Jay-Z's entertainment company. The kid who was forced out of the Korean music industry by a mistranslated MySpace post signed with Jay-Z's label 8 years later. That same year, he co-founded Higher Music with producer Cha-Cha Malone, a second label with a global mandate, bridging Seattle hip-hop with Korean artists and building something neither world had seen before. Jae Park had done what no one in his position had managed to do. He didn't choose between Korean and American. He built a lane that was entirely his own, and then invited others into it. The cost. None of this came without a cost. The training system that built him had also done something else. 3.5 years under JYP, 12-hour days, sing it like this, do it like this. Jae Park later described that period plainly. It helped him technically, and it killed his passion and creativity in equal measure. The system gave him the tools and took something harder in return. When he came back in 2010, the industry made sure he felt the terms of his return. He was blacklisted from Korean music programs and shut out of industry opportunities for over a year. The fans showed up at the airport. The gatekeepers did not move. He had to build a parallel industry, specifically because the existing one had made clear he wasn't welcome inside it. And then there was 2021. He described it publicly as a hard year. A year that took a lot of thought and a lot of time spent organizing his emotions. On December 31st, he posted a statement announcing he was stepping down as CEO of both AOMG and Higher Music, the 2 labels he had built from nothing over 8 years. No specific reason, just that it had taken a lot out of him to get there. What happened to AOMG after he left tells its own story. Within 3 years, Gray, Lee High, and several other artists who had defined the label's identity had departed. The label that everyone said felt like family turned out to have been held together largely by one person. When he left, the gravity went with him. But here's what didn't happen. He didn't disappear. 62 days after stepping down from both labels he built, he launched a third one, More Vision. And when he described what he wanted from it, he didn't talk about charts or revenue or market share. He said he wanted to pass something down. People had spent 17 years putting limits on him. What's an Asian doing in hip-hop? What's an idol doing rapping? What's a tattooed celebrity doing on television? He broke through every one of those walls, not by asking permission, but by refusing to accept that the wall applied to him.